Thanks a lot for the conversation today. I just want to respond to raise one thing to what Martin Masai had said, and also pose a question to the British High Commissioner, Jane. First is, media freedom is very critical for a just, accountable, inclusive, and democratic society. And for those attributes to be achieved, voices of women and men have to be heard and given a chance in the media. The challenge we have now in that particular dimension, when it comes to media, women voices are not captured in the media. Recent studies shows that, for instance, in Kenya, less than 24% of those who have heard, listened, or seen in media are women. So from where I see it is, media freedom can only be complete if both genders have access and their views can be heard in the media to lead to that just society. It's a conversation we can have. We don't have time now, but it's a conversation we can have. How do you do that? And I like the program, Protecting, that the High Commissioner has just announced today. I hope there are measures within that program to ensure that the three organizations, whenever they fund particular organization, one of the key requirements is voices of both genders have to be heard, so that for that to be a success. Now, to my question, recently we have read the British government reducing funding, development assistance to both UN and other organizations. I'm just hoping it will not impact on your funding on media freedom programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. Prof? I think after Prof, then you can have the High Commissioner respond, then you take the rounds of questions.
Thank you very much, Madam High Commissioner. I think it's always interesting and, of course, informative to listen to such people when they speak. And we're delighted, of course, as the Kenya Editors Guild, with the support that you're offering, especially not only journalists in Kenya, the media organizations, but also to the region. I mean, we know the challenges that exist in places like Somalia, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Eritrea. And of course, a very close home with Uganda and Tanzania, and maybe to some extent, Kenya. Of course, it's important to improve press freedom. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask, and especially with regard to the Protect program, why Kisumu, Nairobi, and Mombasa, given the challenges that exist, especially at the counties and at grassroots, and the fact that we want to ensure that journalists in places like northeastern parts of the country, with terrorism, for example, and other challenges that exist in those places, I think it would be important to include them to ensure that, because we work in an ecosystem, and for a long time we've been accused of marginalizing journalists that work in peri-urban and rural places. So I think it's important to have them in that program, because I think the Protect program is important in improving press freedom and the quality of journalism in this country. The other maybe question is, of course, the support that we need to give our public broadcaster. I think KBC for a long time has been, a major player in this sector, and we've been working very hard to try and improve the quality of our public broadcaster. And any support, of course, that is offered to that organization will be critical. And thirdly, and lastly, is we know that the future of journalism lies in, for example, with the academia. And maybe I'm interested in this. And we trying as a Kenya Editors Guild to have a mentorship program with the support of various organizations. And perhaps the British government, your High Commission, would like to also try to support that kind of program so that we develop the next group of journalists. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Nyabuga. I think we can have the High Commissioner respond to this. Yes, they're asking that respond from the podium, that we capture
you very much. Great sets of questions, and I'd obviously expect no less from the assembled masses. So to take those in turn. On the Kamathi family issues, I mean, first of all, the UK and Kenya have got a really complicated history together. It's a long history, and a lot of that is not good history from the UK. But we are now in 2021, and working through that history together and having a forward-looking partnership has very much been the basis of how we've worked together for many years now, including the launch of this strategic partnership between His Excellency President Kenyatta and Prime Minister Boris Johnson in January 2020, that long-distance day pre-COVID, when all we knew was that it was a problem in another corner of the globe. But as part of that history does come, and part of that relationship does come to addressing some of the historical issues. So, there has been, within the past decade, legal cases around that that have come to arrangements. And I'm very happy to look at, I haven't received any direct requests from the Kenyan government, but very happy to look at requests as we work together. I know our questioner mentioned meticulous record keeping by the British colonial administration. What we do know is that sadly not all of those records have survived, and that is part of the challenge then to work out exactly what has happened. We talked about gender, and I mean, the media, like many fields, is still quite male-dominated. I'm delighted to see a growth in the number of women and other groups in the whole of the media sphere. We've still got a long way to go across the globe, not just in Kenya, not just in the UK, but across the globe in gender representation. And increasingly, it is about mainstreaming these issues. Sexual violence against women is not an issue about women. Actually, women are fairly peripheral. This is a power play by that very small minority of usually men who have perpetuated that violence, and therefore it's incumbent upon the vast majority, overwhelming majority of the men and women to work together on this issue. It's not a women's issue, and I think the more that actually we see male commentators addressing some of this as well, and not just leaving it on women to take forward, then the stronger we will be as societies. You mentioned some of the programmes that we're spending here. I'm delighted to say that the Prevent programme I mentioned will be going ahead, and we will be continuing to support media freedom work here in Kenya and in the region. Why Kisumu, Mombasa and Nairobi? Well, we'd like to do this globally. We'd love to do this across the whole of Kenya, but you've got to start somewhere, and those are areas that were identified to us in conversation with civil society and with journalist groups as a good starting point. I agree, at some point it would be great to have this across Kenya, but let's start here, prove the concept, prove how we can work together first. And in terms of mentorship and support to academia, I agree developing the next generation of journalists is vitally important. And actually this begins at school, not just in academic institutions at the university level, and it's all about critical thinking. And this is one of the challenges that I think we see today, where people are just taking what they see in a tweet as fact, something on social media as fact. Now, as good journalists, you will know that you don't publish something unless you've got at least one corroborating source, because if not, it's just a